Let's bring in the founder of the Mighty Oaks Foundation, Chad Robichaud, who is also a U.S. Marine veteran. Chad, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. You know, it's interesting having Donald Trump back as president-elect because right now he's not introducing himself to these world leaders. They already have a relationship with him, and they know how he operates. So yesterday we got word that not only did he speak on the phone with leaders in the Middle East, as Matt was just talking about, he also spoke with Russian President Vladimir Putin on the phone and told him not to escalate the war in Ukraine. So what do you think the impact of Donald Trump will be when it comes to potential peace and deterrence around the world?
I don't think we have to guess. We seen what happened when President Trump was in office for 4 years. We saw peace. We saw countries cower to the strength of the White House. And look, the United States military is not our greatest asset that we bring to the table in the world stage. Our greatest asset is our negotiating power, our economic sanctioning ability, and the White House, a strong commander-in-chief in the White House who can lead this world to peace. And we've seen it for 4 years. We actually did it through strength. President Obama said it would take decades and generations to remove ISIS and Al-Qaeda off the battlefield. President Trump did it in 5 months. And we spent 4 years without any new wars, and the only president in my lifetime or in 80 years to actually do that.
Yeah, and this is a huge question to ask you in a couple minutes that we have, but Donald Trump is walking into so many challenges when it comes to the war in Ukraine and the war in Gaza, and he said that he wants to end the war in Ukraine and also alleviate the situation between the Israelis and the Palestinians. I mean, how do you go about doing that, picking up from a foreign policy directive that is much different from his when it comes to the Biden administration and trying to steer the ship in a different direction?
Well, Ukraine, for example, and I've been to Ukraine 10 times since the war. And the reason I've been to Ukraine is because of the failure of the Biden administration. You have to remember, the White House, I believe, allowed this to happen. When Putin put 100,000 troops on the eastern Ukrainian border, it was President Biden that decided to remove our embassy, remove our consulate, and remove our U.S. troops from Ukraine, which gave a green light for Putin to cross that border. The Article 5 violation is a very real thing. If President Putin even indiscriminately harms a U.S. troop or NATO troop, he's in an Article 5 violation. He does not want that. If President Trump, even as president-elect, cannot get Vladimir Putin and Zelensky to negotiate a ceasefire, all President Trump has to do is lead a humanitarian aid effort with NATO in that country, which would put Putin at a risk of an Article 5 violation. This thing would be over in 24 hours, and I believe President Trump not only can do it, I believe he will do it, and I believe he'll do it before he's in office, that he will negotiate a ceasefire in Ukraine.
That would be remarkable news if that does come to pass. So today, Chad, is Veterans Day. We thank you so much for your service, all that you have done for this country and continue to do. But some students at Columbia University feel much differently about Veterans Day, and they're circulating this flyer on social media and around campus. They're protesting Veterans Day, and a portion of the flyer says, Veterans Day is an American holiday to honor the patriotism, love of country, and sacrifice of veterans. We reject this holiday and refuse to celebrate it. The American war machine should not be honored for the horrors unleashed on others. Instead, we will celebrate Martyrs' Day in honor of those martyred by the Israel-U.S. war machine, a day to honor the patriotism, love of country, and sacrifice of those martyrs. So, Chad, what do you think when you hear that? A group of students at an elite university replacing Veterans Day with Martyrs' Day, and I guess you could take in that statement that they would be celebrating the Hamas terrorists that were killed in this war.
Yeah, well, it's the manufactured outrage of the day by a bunch of spoiled students, and I'd say an elite university. I'd say it's a woke university that produces students like this. And look, this is their right. This is the freedoms that I fought for them to have the right to do this peacefully. By the way, they should. But look, if they want to celebrate, if they want to be against the anti-industrial military complex, if they want to be against the anti-American war machine, then they should join me right now and celebrate that President Donald Trump is in office and the neocons in Washington, D.C. are being pushed out. And so they should go to their university where they're supposed to be seeking education, understand what's really happening here, and we're going away from war. And American military is going to do what It's always been best what every military warrior's done since they donned uniforms in 1775 and has fought, bled, and died for the freedoms in this country and protected all of our rights, including the rights that they're trying to exercise right now to do something that's ridiculous.
You are still fighting for those freedoms that our country holds so dear. And Chad, we thank you so much for joining us this morning and for serving our country so valiantly each and every day. We appreciate you, as always. Chad Robichaud, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhardt. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.